Support WrestleTalk!
Visit WrestleTalk.com. It's WWE Evolution this Sunday. I'm Ollie Davis, this is Luke Owen, and we are going to do our predictions for that all-women, not gimmicked at all show that's definitely going ahead, despite Raw and Smackdown building terribly to it. What we got up first, Luke?
Well, coming up first is the most recently announced match for the show, and it was pretty much a given since the 6 of them were not part of the Battle Royal. It is Sasha Banks and Bayley and Natalya versus the Riott Squad in a 6-person tag match.
So, spoiler, neither of us are that into this card.
I think some of it is quite good, but I think so for example, there are 4 matches on this that I am quite into.
I guess that's a good point. All the title matches.
The main title matches I'm into, but we're starting off at the moment with this 6-woman tag that I'm really not into, and it's a shame. I feel like we've used the word a shame a lot this week.
Well, it's been one of those weeks.
It's been one of those weeks. But it's a shame because WWE spent so much time building this women's tag team division across brands, only to get to this show and be like, nah, can't be bothered now, and we're just not doing it. Same with the tag team Money in the Bank that was meant to happen this year. They brought up all these tag teams from NXT and then just went, nah, I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
And all those tag teams then had nothing to do, and that's why we're just sort of in this. At least they're not part of the Battle Royal, I guess.
I mean, I would prefer to see Sasha Banks in the Battle Royal, because at least there's the carrot of a future Women's Championship shot at the end of it, and then you can have a nice bid with Sasha in the Final 4. But that's, this has nothing attached to it.
No.
This is what we see every week on Raw.
Pretty much.
I feel like we've seen this match already a couple of times, and it's been decisive that Sasha Banks and Bayley are winning.
Well, I mean,
so I'm going for the baby faces, by the way, because Banks was pinned this week due to nefarious means from the Riott Squad, and she's just come back from injury. We both love Sasha. We both love Bayley. Natalya's fine.
I'm also going with Sasha, Bayley, and Banks because Riott Squad never win anything. So
maybe now's the time.
Maybe now's the time they're going to start pushing Ruby Riott. I mean, they do. We said this at Super Showdown. They need to give Ronda some future opponents, and I thought Ruby Riott could be one of them. But well, here we are. I'm going to stick with Banks, Bayley, and Natalya for the same reasons as you. I mean, I've been saying this for a long time. Maybe we'll see that Sasha Banks heel turn.
No, that happened already. That happened, every other week for a few months there.
Yeah, but then they became best friends again. So now we need to do the heel turn again. Once more with feeling.
I saw a funny comment about Raw. They said, "Thank God Kurt Angle isn't general manager anymore. Otherwise, next week Dean and Seth will be sent to counselling." I thought, I forgot that was a storyline.
Yeah,
that was the worst storyline this year.
Yeah, quite possibly. Anyway, up next we've got the Women's Battle Royal for a future championship match.
Ooh,
here are the participants.
Spicy.
Essentially, it's the WrestleMania pre-show Battle Royal to get everyone on the show, give them a payday. That is what this Battle Royal is. Only they've got the little carrot on the end of the stick that says you might get a title shot at some point.
So you don't even get a trophy?
No, you get a title shot. Well, Naomi doesn't want another trophy that they're not going to ship around, do you?
Fair enough.
So here are the participants for this Battle Royal. Tamina.
The bookie's favourite.
Billie Kay. Peyton Royce. Ember Moon. Alicia Fox. Nia Jax. Dana Brooke. Asuka. Mandy Rose. Sonya Deville. Carmella. Lana. Naomi. Tori Wilson. Michelle McCool. Alundra Blaze / Medusa. Ivory. Kelly. Maria Kanellis. Molly Holly. And Zelina Vega.
Wow. Wow.
I know, right?
Zelina Vega's just in there at the end after all those legends.
I think she was just named on this past SmackDown. I think her running down and attacking Carmella was her that's how she entered herself into the Battle Royal.
Yeah. So the Battle Royal, aka we've run out of creative ideas for people.
Creative has nothing for you.
It's an absolute embarrassment that the women's the pay-per-view that's meant to showcase women's wrestling is doing the same tricks that men, like more male-dominated wrestling cards, have done throughout WWE history, of just chucking all the women in a meaningless thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out in bras and pants. Panties, for the American listeners. I'm going for Nia Jax.
You're going with Nia Jax?
Oh, but Asuka's in there. My mind keeps blocking that out because it's so painful.
But Asuka did stand tall on SmackDown, which, has been proven to be not a big factor, I guess. But
Nia Jax has lost a lot recently.
Yeah.
Not lost a lot, but not won.
Yeah.
She has not won a lot recently.
I wasn't going to go Nia as well, but I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go for the winner of the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, Naomi, and almost like, hey, she's now won 2 of these pointless Battle Royals. Maybe that's a character. And maybe we can start some sort of storyline with her and Asuka.
Naomi's got a character. She glows.
Oh, yes, and you feel said glow.
Yes, yeah. But we all know the winner of the larger prize, My Heart, has already been won by Tori Wilson.
Absolutely, Tori Wilson, the real life Benjamin Button.
She's aging backwards.
She is indeed. What a big list of names in there. Pretty much the entire SmackDown Women's division that isn't Becky Lynch. Well, in fact, it's the entire SmackDown Women's division that isn't Becky Lynch and Charlotte.
Do you think they're all going to stand in a line in a row at one point?
Well, they'll all be in the ring, I suppose. Yeah.
NXT call-ups are going to happen, I bet. Not call-ups, but cameos.
Well, you say that, but there's 20 women already in there. And it's a battle royal, so they all start in the ring at the same time.
Women are smaller than men.
Well, Selena is about 3'5",
exactly.
So
you can stack them on top of each other.
Yeah, I almost think more than 20 is just asking for trouble. But there was all those NXT names that were apparently they're going to be there, but they just may not be used.
Maybe they'll be lumberjacks. That's the other way to get loads of people on the card.
Reverse battle royal. That's what they should have done. And then did a ladder match. Up next, we've got Trish Stratus and Lita versus Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. Caveat, we are recording this on Wednesday. It is Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're recording this on Wednesday, so we don't know whether or not Alexa Bliss is going to be in this match. The story is that she got a concussion over the weekend, and she may be replaced by Alicia Fox, which would take her out of contention from that all-important Battle Royal and into this more featured match. So, it's current day versus the Attitude Era. And Mickie James is in there too. So
current day, Alicia Fox and Mickie James could end up being which is really 2008. I'm not gonna give my prediction until you've said the proper name for Trish Stratus and Lita.
Oh, do apologise. Besties, best for business. Now I think they're just called the Besties, but Trish was saying the Besties are best for business. So I think the tag team is just the Besties or the Attitude Era. I'm not sure. Like they just said, that's how we do it in the Attitude Era.
Extreme Stratisfaction
was better.
I don't care. Is the main problem. I care fewer about this than I do the six woman, which is fascinating. Well done, WWE. You continue to confound my expectations.
Yeah.
God, I think I'm going to go for Mickie James and Alicia Fox because the replacements usually end up winning.
So we're going with Mickie and partner. No, don't mean to do that. I've written that under me. This is why you do this bit.
It's uninspiring, isn't it?
So uninspiring.
It's like aggressively boring when I don't even want to think about it.
Aggressively boring is how I would describe the build for this.
It's going to be a terrible match as well.
I'm saying Trish and Lita. I think they'll do it for the nostalgia pop.
I don't care.
And it'll be something. Apparently Trish and Lita are going to be sticking around for that tag team division that doesn't exist. Maybe they'll announce the tag belts on this show. If they announce the tag belts on this show, I'll probably be even more furious. Because why wouldn't you have announced that ahead of time and built to something? Rather than just announce, that'd be the worst.
I think we're both progressive male men.
Mm-hmm.
WWE are turning me into a misogynist. I hate this. I just think...
Well, do you know what? People are going to be watching this. This might be their first video being like, God, these two are miserable pricks. Right, but now we can move into some more exciting stuff.
Okay, gear change. Second half of the show.
Second half of the show. Here's where the fun begins. Now, if you haven't seen the semi-finals of the Mae Young Classic, we're about to spoil the semi-finals of the Mae Young Classic. This is a spoiler warning. If you haven't seen it, stop watching now or skip ahead, because we're going to reveal it. So CM Punk returned.
That's shocking.
So shocking. And somehow he's on this show. The finals of the Mae Young Classic 2, it's Io Shirai versus Toni Storm.
Why didn't you warn me about that? Yeah, 2 deserved finalists.
Mm-hmm.
I have not watched pretty much anything of this tournament.
I've seen the first 3 episodes. And I was very unimpressed with all 3 of them.
It's because we hate women.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the Miko Satomura match was absolutely awesome.
She's the other winner of my heart.
Yes.
She's amazing.
Why she's not on this show is truly baffling.
Because she's like, she still wrestles for Stardom, though. She's still a Stardom performer. She's only there as like a one-shot deal.
Oh, maybe. Well, yeah, I suppose that's right, isn't it? It's the same reason why the Cruiserweight Classic final was TJP and...
Cedric.
No, Cedric had already been knocked out.
Rich Swann?
No.
Oh, yeah, because they did that great angle.
Yeah.
TJP.
And...
Was it Grand Metalik or Lindsay Dorado?
It might have been one
I think it was a master guy.
I'm gonna Google things live on air. Why don't you give your thoughts on this?
Yes.
On this tournament that you've not watched.
So Toni Storm is fantastic. It is Toni Storm, isn't it?
It is.
But Toni Storm's very in the UK mix of things now. So there is a bit of a weird... I don't know if you'd want a UK... Toni Storm feels like she's going to be on the NXT UK shows more, whereas Io Shirai, I believe, is going to go to NXT and have some killer matches with Kairi Sane. So I would assume she wins. I think she should win. Although, Toni Storm is so good and she's got such a presence about her. I would actually book her to win, and that gives her a big push into NXT and then eventually into the main roster. I think she's got enough to be a real featured, solid performer in any women's division. Io Shirai is a very good worker, but there is always the problem of Vince McMahon botching Japanese talent.
But I think in Io's defense is that she is fluent in English, not in the same way that Asuka and Kairi Sane are, where they are learning English but still sort of struggle with the enunciation of words. Io Shirai can cut a promo in sort of almost perfect English. And I think that will help, because one of Vince's things is like, you've got to be able to cut a promo, you've got to be able to talk. If people can't understand you, then you can't get over. It was Grand Metalik. I've just quickly Googled that, because it was set up to be Zack Sabre Jr. and Kota Ibushi, and then both of them decided that they didn't want to sign with WWE, so they got knocked out in the semi-finals.
We are going to feel the consequences of that for decades. Triple H will never be, I won't get burned again.
No, exactly.
I'm never going to get really good performers from outside, because they were doing it. Jushin Thunder Liger, bringing people in for these one-shot, no contract deals, and then this happens.
Yep.
He's never doing it again, and he's going to be in charge forever.
So back to Shirai versus Storm. You're going to go with Storm?
Yep.
No,
I'm going with Shirai.
You're going with Io. I am also going with Io. I think that Toni Storm she's very much in that NXT UK place at the moment. Also, here's some more spoiler warnings. We're going to spoil the NXT UK Women's Championship tournament because the finals of that, I think, air in like mid-December. But it was meant to be
timely.
There was meant to be a championship match on this show, which Rhea Ripley wins. And so I think they're probably going to work sort of a program between Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm, in which case Io Shirai makes more sense because she can go across to NXT and feud with Kairi Sane over the NXT Women's Championship. I'm also going with Io Shirai. Speaking of which, Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. I'm going to just go off the bat and say Kairi Sane is winning. I think Shayna is destined for the main roster sooner rather than later. I think actually her spending more time in NXT will be detrimental to her, because the whole key to Shayna Baszler's mystique and aura is that she is this sort of unstoppable force. And when you're not champion, you just keep losing. Like, if you lose this championship opportunity, but you're still in NXT, like, where do you go from there? So I think Shayna is destined for the main roster.
Maybe a debut at the end of Survivor Series, lays out Ronda Rousey, does a killer angle like that.
I've got ideas in mind of
Yeah?
at the end of this show.
Huh. Okay, well,
this card, not the end of this.
Let's come back
ramble.
onto that.
Yeah.
I would probably say Kairi Sane
Go
too.
with Kairi Sane too.
It's a shame though, because this is a year after the first Mae Young Classic, and you've got these two colliding again. Of course, Kairi Sane won that the first tournament in the finals against Shayna Baszler. So it would have been nice almost to have Baszler get the win back here, and you build in a year's time to the big rubber match. But WWE don't think that far ahead, and I agree that Baszler's time to come up is soon.
Yeah, so I think that we had Kairi Sane won the finals of the Mae Young Classic, then Baszler beat her on TV, and then Kairi sort of won their rubber match at NXT TakeOver.
Yes,
previous.
I sort of meant in a...
Yes, exactly. Well, no,
if they keep colliding every year.
Because this is now their fourth meeting, and I think that Baszler is going to come out the loser in that one. Right, for the SmackDown Women's Championship, in a last woman standing match, the, quote, first ever that Vince McMahon has seen, it's Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. Now, this is an interesting one.
I'm looking forward to this the most on the show.
Absolutely, so am I. And I think this is the most interesting one for predictions, because we've kind of sort of been predetermined to believe that Charlotte is winning this, because Charlotte is the face of their women's division, at least on the SmackDown side of things, while Ronda is the face on the Raw women's side. So you want to you wanted to put the belt back on Charlotte, have this big sort of coronation moment. However, Becky has just been on fire at the moment, and she's getting such great organic crowd reactions, and everyone is so behind her that you almost think that Becky could retain here. With that said, I'm going with Charlotte.
Yeah.
I don't want to. In my heart of heart, I want Becky to retain. But I really think that WWE, because this is a big PR thing, I think they'll want that sort of they'll want a big moment on this show. And I think they think Charlotte winning is a big moment. So I don't want it to be. I'm pulling for Becky the whole way, but I'm going to go with Charlotte Flair. I'm going with my head rather than my heart.
I'm going with my head. No, I'm going with my heart.
You going with Becky?
I'm going with my heart. I'm going for Becky.
You're right. I hope you're right.
I know what you mean, but I don't think this will close the show. I think
Ronda
it
won't close
main
the show.
event.
Oh yeah, Ronda's definitely main eventing.
I can foresee. This isn't what I would do. I would have this over as the feud for now, and then Becky Lynch can go on to something else as champion. Charlotte can go on to something else as in that top mix for the number one contendership, maybe. But the last woman standing, to me, sounds like screwy finish. I think it's going to have a screwy finish. Becky just gets out, and then I think they will use that to continue the feud even further, and you'll have a big payoff at Survivor Series, which is, a terrible way to elongate the story. But I think that's what they'll do. Plus, it keeps the belt on Becky, so...
Yeah. I think the belt feels more at home on
But
Becky.
I think until the finish that we all get annoyed by, I don't know how they're going to do it, I just think it's going to be screwy, it's going to be a terrific match.
Yeah.
Charlotte's very athletic and impressive, and they've just got they've got a chemistry, not a chemistry, but kind of like a fierceness in the ring. When they're wrestling, I believe they hate each other.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to that.
I also think as well that these two are definitely going to have this sort of like this chip on their shoulder that they want to steal the show.
Yeah.
So I think they're really going to go hell for leather on this, and I'm really, really looking forward to it.
I really hope there's a backstage segment. Now that Becky's a heel, whatever, heel Becky walks past Sasha and Bayley and just says, "Oh, what are you doing tonight then?"
Yes. Oh, that would be amazing.
Because that could actually get us some heat.
Yeah, that'd be great.
In the right way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with Charlotte Flair still, and I reckon they're going to have a rematch on Smackdown on the Tuesday night. Which Charlotte will win again. And bros, most likely the main event. It's probably the most important match in the eyes of Vince McMahon. It's Ronda Rousey defending her Raw Women's Championship against Nikki Bella, with Brie Bella in her corner. As we got an email in the other day to ask us, does anyone remember that Nikki turned on Brie at the Royal Rumble?
No, we don't.
No, I genuinely had forgot, because Nikki Bella was she came second in the Royal Rumble. She was the runner-up.
Yeah, knocked off by Asuka.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep, and look where Asuka is now. Did wonders for her. So anyway, Ronda versus Nikki. What say you?
Ronda.
Yep.
I think there'll be loads of smoke and mirrors. That's why Brie Bella's out there. Otherwise, she should be in a match with Liv Morgan. And it'll just be... I can't see it going that long, but that's what I thought about the WrestleMania match, and they had a fantastic bout. But that had Triple H in and Kurt Angle, who can,
and Stephanie McMahon.
Oh yeah, who can all carry matches like that. It'll be interesting because I'm not really a fan of Nikki Bella's in-ring work. Ronda Rousey has been good when she has not been exposed too much. So yeah, but it's going to be Ronda. Because why would you? I think if you I don't think Nikki's staying around for a while. I think she's come in quite obviously out of nowhere after Survivor Series. Hey, I'm friends with everyone. Yes, SummerSlam. And then she's going to culminate at Evolution. And then she's going to Thanos away to
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube and not be in a relationship with John Cena.
I'm also going to go with Rousey. So, here's how I kind of picture this going. I think that Nikki is going to walk down with Brie. They're going to be like, you can look, but you can't touch. And they're going to be like, yeah, we're all bad. Look, I've got this extra person in my corner. Then Ronda's going to come out. And then Baszler, Shairi, and Desmond Duke come out, the 4 horsewomen of MMA. And so now she's got backup in her corner, like just standing there in the corner. Not like, and maybe they'll have like an outer scuffle thing, outside the ring, what have you. Maybe Nikki even comes out with Alicia Fox, because they're probably friends. And you kind of like have this sort of stare off and things like that. But at the end of the night, either when they're all raising Ronda's hand, you have Shayna do something very subtle that's just she looks up at the championship.
That's great.
And just sort of sets that up. So the camera catches her looking up at it being like, oh, that's going to be mine. Or you do the Baszler attacks Rousey at the end of the show, locks her in the clutch and leaves her laying.
Yeah. I mean, that would be an awesome cliffhanger.
And then leaves with Shairi and Duke.
Ooh.
And they'd be like, you left us. Like, we were meant to do this together and you just abandoned us.
That's great. Yeah, I really like all of those endings. It's a shame that WWE didn't plan this better, seeing that this has been in the works.
It's been so last minute, though.
Yeah. Seeing it's been announced 3-4 months ago, where you can orchestrate a situation where it makes sense for all the characters to have the UFC 4 horsewomen stand there, and the WWE ones. You can't do that now because Becky and Charlotte hate each other. But if they didn't, and you worked it properly, you could have those 4 stare off at the 4 the UFC, the MMA girls, and then not have that payoff at Survivor Series, but that's your build to your big WrestleMania match. Or Royal Rumble, I don't know.
Yeah. So that is all of our predictions, I guess. I think this will most likely be a fun show.
I don't think it will.
Well, okay, so there are 7 matches. I think 4 of those 7 I think are going to be good. So I think we should be in for at least a decent night.
I think the Smackdown title match is going to have a screwy finish, and we're going to remember that more than the actual match. I think the Mae Young Classic isn't going to get enough time. I think NXT is going to have a screwy finish, and I think Ronda Rousey is going to be, it's going to be quick.
The show's going to go at 2.5 hours. We think between 2.5 3 hours. Maybe I'm just being optimistic. Maybe I.
That's your mistake. You got to go in with low expectations.
I think I want this to succeed more than WWE do.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling for this to be good, but the first 3 matches on that card really do fill me with just disappointment.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
I'm angry.
And when you think that there is so, like, when I was talking about Evolution in the Smackdown review, and how it was really annoying and disappointing that WWE didn't do anything more, and there's a couple of comments that were like, well, what do you expect? The roster's awful, like, they haven't got any good wrestlers on there. And I'm like, dude, they have like among the best women's wrestlers on the planet, and you couldn't do anything with them. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, it is embarrassing that so many of these names are in that battle royal. It really is. It should have been the gimmick battle royal from WrestleMania X7. It should have just been, here's all the nostalgia acts come out for their quick pop. It's over in 18 seconds, and we enjoy the entrances more than we enjoy the match.
Definitely.
Rather than have bloody Asuka and Naomi and Nia and Ember Moon in there. And the Iconics. It's such an embarrassment.
Well, you won't be here on Monday just to prepare people for the review, so I will be in here, hopefully, in the new Wrestle Ramble set, which has been installed on Friday, with WrestleTalk website writer Andy Datson. just don't get your like Evolution. Don't get your hopes up.
Yeah.
Like it could be a terrible review show because, unproven element.
I'm not here.
He's not a professional. We're just plopping him in front of the camera. We'll see what happens. But that's all we've got time for, so please click the videos that have just appeared on our laps to catch up with the latest WrestleTalk awesome things, and this button right here, which will make you a podcast subscriber on Apple Podcasts. I've been Ollie Davis. This has been the other one, Luke Owen, and that was rambling.